There we go. Just
Hello?
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's up?
Not a whole lot. Just
Okay. Well, if you got a question, I can try to help you. I've got the screen share off, but let me get off here and get over to the. You have a question about the simulation?
No, I think I got it pretty good.
Okay. No, I was just talking to my wife. She called to see what was going on. I said, well, I'm here at the office, so if folks come by, the lab or come by the office, I can help out. Otherwise, I'm online here, and so no, not just
Yeah.
not a whole lot. Let's see, you should be able to see the OBU Bison thing now. I resumed the share on this. Do you see that?
Yeah.
There'll be okay, good. Yeah. Excuse me. If you got anything, you got a question or anything I help you with, I'm happy to try.
No, I think I'm pretty good. I've been getting it all.
And don't never forget, when you're in here now, if you've got a question, you can always, now you can see, I don't know how it looks from your end because I've never been a participant. I've always just done moderator, but if you have a question or something like that you don't want to, you don't want shared with everybody, then you can always hit the chat. And what happens is the chat function in here, I see it and you see it, but it's blank to everybody else. And that's why, like, if I have an advising session or stuff like that, people, they don't have, the bottom line is it gives some privacy.
Yeah.
Well, so if you have a question or something, you can do that. But you guys, I couldn't find. Did your group save did you guys go in before everything rolled over to competition to see how you were doing on the last round or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, because it's
stock price climbed by $15 last time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everything rolled back to everything's rolled back to zero now. In the competition round, and at 10 o'clock on Monday, it went back. And then the end of the first round will be the 16th. So I think I covered some of that last week when I just did a short little screencast and told everybody what's going on. So just the usual. I usually stay here till 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, because I figure if someone hasn't shown by then, probably not gonna. But I have virtual office hours all week, so I get some people who come in, and then I have a few that want want to know if it's private and all that, and it is if you use the chat function. So I just tell them, if you got a question that you think is private, go ahead, because I record all of my advising sessions. This session's recorded, all of them are. So it's there to provide a little bit of convenience to everybody. Now you're taking this course, and what else aren't you taking 2 courses with me?
I have 3 courses with you.
You've got 3 courses with me. That's right. You're taking this one, and you're taking. Are you taking data admin?
No.
Business
process analysis.
Okay. And MIS.
MIS and policy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's the first time with undergraduates I've done it like this. Let me see who else is here. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Good to see you. And Matthew, do you have a microphone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Gotcha. Yeah. The depend on the bandwidth, guys. It depends. Now, if you have Matthews, I was telling Houston, if you have a question and you think maybe it's private or something, there's a chat feature that you can use. And when you chat, what will happen is I'll see it, you'll see it, but nobody else sees it. And to kind of give you an example, let me ask you, do you see this? Do you see this bar with all these features on it up here, like the mute video and all that? You see that? That's probably cloaked.
Yeah.
Oh, you do see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was cloaked, but anyway, but I guess maybe not. But no, this is the first time I've done it with the undergraduate classes, and people are turning their work in and seem to be doing okay. So I'm pretty happy with. I'm not real happy with the I don't have the numbers of people coming in for virtual office hours like I thought I would have, and I think I may have to at some point in the future think about making everybody come in, each person come in at least once. I'm now, like today and Monday, I'm here
just signing my class
for all the time. Yeah. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I wasn't saying anything. I think it was somebody, Matthew.
Okay, Matthew.
So are we having class today?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Are we having BPA today? Business problem analysis?
Yeah. Today's Thursday,
Okay.
isn't it? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to get that started up and going. Yeah. So
yeah.
Let me get on. Let me get over here and get rolling. I'm mixed up because I was thinking today's policy. Oh, it's BPA today, isn't it? Earth to me. Okay, I better run and see if there's anybody in the classroom. That's weird. Well, it's been that kind of week. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to head over to the lab just in case there's some people that come over there, and then I'll get us started. Let me grab my book, and I'll go over and get set up, and I'll stay on because we're all on here and we're all recording. And I don't know why I thought this was Monday. My brain's going dead. But yeah, we need to do some work on BPA tonight. So let me get over. I got stuck with some extra classes this semester, and it's kind of eating my lunch up. And trying to learn this new software. So I felt like I'm about 2 days behind for the past 2 months. I probably have been. Yeah. So I'll get over here and get us set up and going. Hi, everybody. Hello. And I got a couple of guys here that are remote. So let me I'll get us set up here. My apologies. My brain said it was Monday. I was telling them that for the last 2 months, I'm teaching some extra courses, and for the past 2 months, I've felt like I'm about 2 days behind. Yeah. Because they're thinking, everybody's working on a simulation. All right. Get us plugged in. And get us rolling here. Okay, just a sec. Yeah, all right. We'll get rolling here.
Been good talking to you. I'm going to go ahead and mute out.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Take care now.
All right. See you soon.
All right. You betcha. Okay, folks, I'm very sorry. My brain was telling me that it was Monday, and I have business policy, and they're working on the simulation, so I just kind of hang in the office and wait if somebody has a question. So I I really, truly apologize about not being here, Johnny, on the spot. But we'll get rolling here. Yeah, well, it's not even 6 o'clock anyway. All right. Now I want the computer. So we'll get rolling here. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. Get those guys to turn it down there for just a minute. Oops. Okay. All right, let me go over here. And where was I? All right, now search and go in. We'll get started. And thank you for being here. Okay. All righty. Back up. Good. There we go. Okay, everybody, and my apologies about being, well, we're still not 6 o'clock, so I'm not that terribly late. Okay. Down here for week 7, and now I've got some, as usual, I have some resources for you to take a look at, okay? And let me pop up to the announcements, because then I'll know where we worked ahead to in terms of the cases. I know we're working on access cases. But as usual, as I usually do, we've got some exams, and then I've got, some resources for you to take a look at that are, give you some more insights in terms of what we're trying to do here, and just kind of enhance what's going on in the sense of some of the content. Now, I'm going to go to the announcements because I want to check to see where we left off last week. Okay, we did, I did a couple of screencasts on access number 1. Now, you'll notice that we're kind of slowing down, and that is because we're working the access cases. So we're going to work on case number 2 now. If you look over in the book, case number 2 is a Hudson, Palmer, Martinez, and Flenderson case. It's case 2. So let's go to the files, okay? And then we'll go down to the solvent student files. And let me also mention this. There's always the event. There's always the possibility when we may have something go awry. The technology goes down or something like that. So if that happens, I have some files. Now, when you look up here in this list of files, you're going to see some that are not showing up on yours because I've got them cloaked in instructor mode. So I do keep these in my hip pocket in the event that something happens, like the Wi-Fi goes down, or anyone. So don't get too hepped up about that. And we are working ahead, so that helps us stay kind of on top of everything. So I've learned over the years, even when I was not using this software, this application, and doing this hybrid, I learned over the years to keep resources there, extra resources, because I could pretty much count on something bad happening at least once or twice a semester. Bad meaning the power goes out, or who knows. Now, the Solvent student files, let's pop up here for a minute, because they're the skeleton files, and we'll download those, okay? Now, what you want to do, and I had someone who sent me an email today, and let me just make sure that I get us all kind of squared away on that. Now, right now, okay, I downloaded that zip file that has the student solvent files. Now, right now, if I just open up any one of these files, spreadsheets, or open up the database, what will happen is it becomes like a system. It becomes like a system file,
which means you're not going to be able to save it because the machine won't let you save it. And that's a security device. So what you want to do is solve it, okay, put it over here, and yeah, if you have copy and replace, and then what I would do for tonight, since we're working on number 2, okay, is I would go ahead and rename it as solve it chapter 5, and I'd call it case 2. Okay, got me? Now, let's open this jewel up for just a second and take a look at it. And then the case itself is over on page 165. Now, just like we did with Excel, okay, just like we did with it, we are just kind of gradually building on each case a few more things, a few more wrinkles, and some kind of a little bit more increasingly complex tasks, but nothing that's a real killer. Now, the case number 2 starts over on page 165. Okay, and there are a number of things in there where they talk about table setups, data input, select query, and there's a whole host of those things in that over on page 165 that they talk about what we're going to do. Okay, now we're using this like a data warehouse. You say, what do you mean? All of these tables, and you want to click on here and we'll do all access objects, and we have really nothing but tables. When we talk about a data warehouse, what we're really saying is nothing but a collection of data. And a table is nothing but that. We just collect a bunch of information in it. Now, if we start running queries, okay, and we're mining the data, that's okay. A data warehouse can also be two or more databases linked together. And just to show you, I'll click on the home here and then click create. Pardon me, click external data. Okay, I'll move that thing over there. And you can see I can go grab something from, I can import and link up to another database or Access database or to Excel or any other types of OBDC, those online databases, or an XML file. They have some, I can click more and get SharePoint, for example, is the baby server for Microsoft. So if we want, we can link this up, okay? But we're just working in here just on the database itself. Now, in order to kind of get ourselves squared away there, we want to take a look at the tasks that are over there, and those are the ones listed. Those are the ones listed in pages 166 and 167. And so, as usual, the way this works is the authors will give us some information about the case, about the company, blah, 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 and then they'll give us a series of tasks, okay? And they give us 7 tasks, all right? And the first is they say complete the design of the table to store the rating system, and they want to do some rating and devise a way to limit the rating field to only 4 categories. They've got several little things they embed in that. Let's look at Hudson Palmer for just a minute and open it up. Okay, and that's the skeleton file. Okay, and what they want us to do is to add some more. They want us to add some more fields in to get a complete table. Okay, so let me close this off for a minute. Okay, and I'll go back up here. And I want to look over here. And I'm going to find you a finished product because I don't want you wasting your time just inputting data or creating columns, because I think that's stuff that's just kind of a waste of your time. So let me get up here and find an access to that I've done at some point. And we can just kind of reverse engineer the thing, and that'll save you some time. Let's see here. Access case 1, 4, 3 done. Let me keep going up here. I thought I had one up here. Let's see if I've got one. If not, I'll just go into the straight solutions file because I do have a solutions file in there. So bear with me here for a sec. And I've got a Zoom recording for access for 2. I did that last year, but I don't want to show that. I just want to take you through it. So let's go down here to solvent files, and I'll get that zip file, and I'll get the solutions. Okay. Now that's not visible to you, but that's all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make it visible. I'm going to publish it for you. Okay. So when you look up here for in just a second, you should see a thing that says Solvent 6.0 solution file zip. Got it now? Go over in the files section. Okay. Let's download it. Okay. And there, and what you'll see here now, instead of the regular, you remember we opened up the Solvent student files that had all those Excel files. Okay. This one has solution files for the cases, and we want to look at this one for Hudson Palmer. So let's take it and put it down on the desktop, and let's see if we can find it where we snuck off to. And I thought I'd put you down there. Yeah, I'll copy and replace it. All right. Now, so what I've just done is, and we'll go back here, I went into the files section. We're working on access case number 2. And we downloaded the zip file with the student files, okay, which are skeleton files, just like we had before, and then some Solvent solution files, okay? Now, I want to work with the solution file for this, so you'll want to save, you can save it as Hudson Palmer and call it case 2, whatever, but make sure you open it and save it to the desktop so you can upload it when you're ready to go, okay? Got me? Now, let me show you a little bit of what they were asking us to do. Now, the authors, what the authors are talking about here is doing some more data table building, okay, and then working through some operations, okay, and then generating some reports from that. And so there's nothing there really terribly difficult. It's just simply a matter of it's just tedious work. So I'm going to show you the Hudson Palmer case 2 answer file. Now let's open that up. Okay, and there is the complete table that they're after. Okay, if you compare it with the skeleton file, you'll see what I mean. So you can see there'll be a whole lot of typing and data input you have to do. I'm not going to waste your time doing that. Okay, now, because I'd rather spend my time on talking about what we're looking at. Now, this is kind of what I would call a combination table. And you say, well, what do you mean? What I mean is this. We have some data here. We have some information that we would call dimensions or variables or attributes. First name, last name, skill, okay? Rater, rating, anything that I can't add, multiply, subtract, divide, do mathematical operations on is a dimension. Anything that I have that I can add, subtract, multiply, divide, etc. is a fact or a measure. So what we have here is a table that was really a fact as it's created. You say, what do you mean? Well, first of all, we got each person's last name, their first name, etc. We've got their skill level, and those skills have a particular meaning. And if you look at the bottom of page 166, you'll see PS is a process server. Then you've got PL, which stands for private investigators. Then you've got legal researchers, and then you have expert witnesses. So these are people who contract out to this law firm, and they have a particular skill. And then you see their hourly rate, okay? And then you see all of the hours that they worked in each of the 4 quarters of that period, okay? Then they're rated, and they have a rater that's identified, and then a rating, and then some comments about their work. Not that big deal, but this is what we call a fact table because it lists all those. Now we're going to improve this table just a little bit. So let's click on it and go into the design mode, okay? And at the very right under comments, we're going to put in we're just going to call it ID, okay? In fact, let's do this. These are our experts. So let's call it expert ID, okay? And then we're going to make that an auto number. Why? So that as we add people, it will just create a unique number. And that's what we're doing by creating the auto number. We're creating a primary key. In fact, click right here, and then you can turn that into a primary key. Got it? So that every row is unique. Again, when we create a table, we need to have a primary key, because with that primary key, if we have multiple tables, we can bury it into another table and link those two tables. It's also just simply an integrity issue of making sure that we have that we have unique records. Now, if I want to, and we're just going to do this, let's take this and we can move it up here. This is always a little bit tricky. Put your cursor on this thing, and we'll move it. We'll try and move it up here. I'm going to try to do that. There it is. And I'm going to put it up here in front of last name. And then I'll have to do that again. And I'll take the comments and put them back here. Probably going to have to just do this a few times. But I want the expert ID at the very top there. I'll put it right under first name. Then I'll leapfrog to under last name. You just put your cursor, then it turns, and there you are. So we have the expert ID, their last name, their first name, their skill, etc. Now, you say, well, why did you really have to do that? They all have a unique last name. Well, what if you get two people who have the same name? And it can happen if the database gets large enough. So you want to make sure the records are all unique. Okay, so let's do this. And we're going to go back up to the data sheet view and see when I save the table. Yeah. And now I've improved that even more because I have the expert ID. Now, what I'm going to do here, well, it should have moved it for me. I thought I did. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Let's go back down to design view and see if we can get it to pop back up. It's showing up there. I don't know why it's not showing the data sheet view. It doesn't matter, because if it's over here or it's over to the left, I've got it in the design view, and it may just be simply a refresh issue. But the point is this: every single one of these records now is unique, okay? Because we give it an auto number, and it just serializes it. So that's the first thing that we would want to do to make this viable, okay? Got me? Now, another issue we have to kind of deal with when we build a table is this: the type of data that we're working with. You say, what do I mean? All right. Well, the auto number is pretty simple. The last name is a short text. First name, same thing. Skill, short text. Hourly rate, that's putting currency. Then the hours they work, that's numbers. Then the rater, that's a short text. The rating is a short text, and then comments. There's one in here, and that's rating, that is kind of problematic. And let's go back up here for just a second, okay? When we look at the rating, they're using a rating of excellent, good, okay, or poor, which is fine semantically because you and I understand what that means, okay? And if we did this for real, we'd want to make sure, okay, that we've got definitions for every single field, which we should, for every single field, and we'd know, well, what do you mean by excellent? So the excellent, that's what we would call nominal data or categorical data, that we can count how many people are excellent, We can count that, but that's about all that we can do with it. Okay, so we might want to, at a certain point, put a number with that rating. Okay, now it might do us some good, it might not. I just don't know, and you just have to see if you got out and practice if you want to do it. But what I did was a lot of the heavy lifting for you in terms of getting this pulled together. Now I want to diminish this down for just a second and go back up and go into the files area, because if I'm not mistaken, I made some notes for myself. I think we had a Hudson Palmer import that was in an Excel file. Let me look up here and see if I can find it. But there it is. Now this file, and I'll open it up to you, okay? And I'm going to publish it. So it should appear. This is an XLS file that we could use if we wanted to import into that skeleton file. Now let's just go ahead and download it for a second, take a look at it. So it's called Hudson Palmer Import, and it's an Excel file. Now, I wanted to show you this, so if we wanted to, we could take these data out of Excel, okay, and just simply bump them into and import them into the database. Now, let's do that. And so open that file, okay, and then let's save it down to your desktop, okay. And it's called Hudson, and I've done it a few times, so it's come up for me, Hudson Data, Hudson Palmer Import 2, and let's put it on here, okay. And so it's on my desktop. You with me so far? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to Hudson Palmer. All right. Now here's my table, okay, and it's called Hudson Palmer Case 2. Answer, okay? Okay, so I've got an answer file here for it, meaning I just, instead of having you sit and type all this stuff, boom, I went ahead and fixed it for you. So we're going to close this off and click External Data, okay? Then click Excel, and it's going to give us a dialog box to go find the Excel file that we want to get. And so we're going to go down to the desktop, okay, and I'm going to go looking for that file, and there's like West. Let's see if I can find Hudson Palmer on here. It should be, here we go, Hudson Palmer 2. Now click Open, and then click OK. And it's going to give us the import dialog box. Now, you'll say, do you want to show the worksheets? Yes. Okay. Now, we'll click Next. Make sure, okay, that this thing where it says first row contains column headings. Make sure, okay, that is checked yes. Okay. You see where I'm at now? Okay. So I went and I got that XLS. First thing I did was I published the XLS file so you could see it. And then, of course, then download it to your desktop. Okay? Now, after I did that, I said, okay, we're going to import it. And I'm just going to cancel this, and I'll go back through the process. Now, if you go, you should have the Hudson Palmer Excel file there on your desktop. You got it? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'm going to click External Data. I'm going to click Excel. And I'm going to get the external data, the import dialog box. And say, okay, what file am I going to go after? So I'm going to browse and go to the desktop. And I'm going to come down here and I'm looking for the Hudson Palmer. And there, Hudson Palmer import. Okay? You with me at this stage? Now, you've heard me say many times, when we're working in Access, it's a database. So treat it like one, but don't try to treat it like it's a spreadsheet, because it's not. Use a spreadsheet for a spreadsheet's operations. Now, granted, you can do some things and mimic a database. You can use pivot table and so forth in Excel, but when you go out to work, you'll hopefully you'll be working with a product like, say, SAS Visual Analytics, that has the best of both worlds, the best of a database, the best of a spreadsheet. So let's open that up, and then click OK, and it shows us shows us the worksheets. Okay, and I click Next, and I make sure that first row contains column headings. Got it? Now we'll click Next, and it can walk us through, and we can go field by field, okay, to get the kind of, to change the data types if we wish to. We're just going to go on through here, and it's going to say, let Access add a primary key, and you probably want to do that. Now you could, if you want, say, okay, I'll choose my own, okay, but I'm going to be messing myself up, so I'm going to let Access choose it for me. And then I'm going to import it into a table, and there is the table that I just imported. Got it? And you say, what's the point of this other than just doing the export? Let me show you. I'm going to go back down here, and I'm going to find the Hudson Palmer. Okay, the Hudson Palmer import. I'm gonna throw it here. I'm gonna open it up. Oh, it's giving me a link. That's okay. Now, if we want to compute, for example, the total number of hours, all we have to do is add a column and then add up these three figures. If we want to know how much they made for the year, we get the total of the hours worked and take it times the hourly rate. And this would be pretty easy to do because I'm in Excel and I can drag and drop. I don't have to go through a whole bunch of machinations to write what we call expressions. Okay? Similarly, if I had, and I'll close this off, if I'm working over here in Access, and let's say I have a table like this one. I'll open up this one, and we've got these number of hours they work, the rate, etc. Okay, I would take this and I'd export it to my desktop, and I'd work in Excel. So my whole point is use the database for a database, use a spreadsheet for a spreadsheet. And it's usually a matter of the number of cases you're dealing and whatever types of operations that you're going to want to do. You with me? Okay. Now I take it a little bit slower here because I can understand if you've not worked with this much, you can be a little bit visually disembodied by going, what am I saying? So let me just talk about the navigation again. We have 4 types of Access objects. An object is data, or data with a label, or some type of executable file that has an icon attached to it. Okay, and so we have tables, queries, forms, and reports. Okay, now I have all this data and I have an icon, the table. Okay, I have some icons, excuse me, for the queries. Now, when databases first came out, you wrote the programming for all of this. Okay, so you can only imagine how difficult it would be to write the code, and so you had to write some programming code, and then you had to turn around and write SQL and all that stuff, and it was a nightmare. But thank God someone came up with a notion of object-oriented programming so that I'm using icons, drags and drops. I drag a file and pop it into a document. It was such a revolutionary change, because then I can do something with it. Okay, let's go back in and explore. Okay, now we've got this case, and let's open it up and go back into the design view. Okay, now we had just imported this, and let me say, Oracle has a thing called a data dictionary. This is the data dictionary, if you will, for Access. Now, the truth is, you probably will never work at this level, because what we're doing right now is we're like the database administrator, okay? But if you understand that there are choices in terms of data types, if you understand that they have storage issues and presentation and format issues, you'll be a much better end user, okay? And you'll be able to at least talk with your DBA or your vendor in terms that make sense, okay? Now, I do a lot of work with a lot of different entities, primarily a lot of churches, and they have a real problem. It's because they usually use a vendor, an outside vendor, or there was someone who's a member and came in and volunteered and helped them. And I have to come back in and try to help them figure out, and I use Access to do some training with them to say, okay, an ID, why would it be an auto number? It's simple. Every time a new record is created, that number just advances. So you never forget. And if you don't have that, and you don't have that record, then you can get really anomalous data. The second thing is the question of, am I using data types that are appropriate for what I'm working with? Names, sure. The skill, that could be a number if I had a skill number, say from 5 to 1 or something like that, but I've chosen to put it into text. Okay. Same thing with hourly rate. Those are numbers. That makes sense. And then how many hours they worked in each quarter. And we have a phone number in there. Click on phone. I want to show you something. Okay. Now the phone is a number. All right. And if you come down to the field properties, this isn't a big deal. But if you go to work for someone, people who will be working for you or with you, your DBA or a vendor, they're going to be very conscious of this, because if you start talking a million records, 5 million records, 10 million, and that's quite easy to do. In a company, a mid-sized company, they might have 25 million records. Then it becomes an issue because of storage cost, not just presentation. You with me? Servers cost money. But the worst part is not the server, it's the input of the data. How do people get data in databases? There's some pretty simple ways. One, somebody fills out a paper form of some kind, and then it's inputted into the machine through a form, and we've talked about those, or they just go into the table and add. Or someone swipes a credit card, and the table and the vendor, the people who you use the credit card with, they have their own separate database system that's linked to the banks. Probably there's a clearinghouse for all those people. So when you swipe your card at Walmart, Walmart gets all that data, and then they pay a fee so that you can swipe your card, and that fee pays for the clearinghouses, and all that data is to go to your bank, to go to Walmart's warehouse, etc. Now, there's not much, when that happens, there's just not a lot that can go wrong, which is why the people at any retailer usually will have you swipe the card, because it's clear what you got, what you spent. Okay? Now, or you have some type of situation where people call you, they contact you, whatever, and you input data in the form. Use a form to input data. Here's the point. Garbage in, garbage out. And so when I go out and I work with somebody and they run a report, they will typically have what we call the problem of the null. So what do you mean? I'll get a report. I'll create a report, and there will be empty spaces. Now, the question is was this excluded because we don't need the information? Was it excluded because we didn't get it? Is this a 0? What does this mean? And what it means is you didn't have the kind of control over your table input that you needed to have. So out in the real world, this would all be filled in with what do we mean by Q1, Q2, and we'd have the date and the initials or some kind of employee ID that would signify who made any changes to this. Okay? If you don't get this right, you've got garbage. So let's look at this phone number for a minute, and you want to control the input so that you get uniform output. You say, what do you mean? Well, this is a double field, so it's a general number, decimal places. Here's something interesting. Come down here and see required. No. If it's not required, why do you have a row for it? Why do you have the dimension in your table? Well, that's the kind of answers I get. It's always fun to go out and ask people, can you tell me the 5 pieces of information you need to know that make you successful? There's 5? No, there's about 3 to 5. It's called the KPI. It's called your key performance indicators. Now, if you use a dashboard system, you hear people talk a lot about that. What that means is a dashboard at my level and function. Maybe the enterprise has a dashboard, whatever. Okay? If you get this and you understand it, you'll understand why the point of contact is so important. So we got a phone number, big deal. Well, if it's not uniform in the way it's inputted, it's going to get nasty and nasty quick. So we're going to come down here, okay, and click on the thing called input mask. You see that? Okay, and if you come to the far right, you're going to see a little infinity button. Press that. You with me so far? And it only works. So let's take that number, okay? Instead of a number, let's make that a text. Now we can come down to the input mask. And we'll save the table. And you should get this input mask wizard. Got it? Yeah? Everybody have this? Now, if you want to try it out and see what it looks like, it's fine. But if you want it to be uniform, okay, then this is what you could say. And I'll go, okay, I like this because this is conventional. And they say, well, try it out. Well, I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to back over here, and I've got to input it 405, okay? And I think I'm 585. 585 4416. That's my phone number at work. And that shows me what it looks like. Okay? Now, would you rather have this or numbers jumbled all together? No, you want this. So click next. And that's the input mask, which means when the numbers are inputted, they show up like how we want to see them. So go back up here and it'll say save the table, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. See what I mean? This is much better. And this forces the end user to input this. Okay? Now, I want you to know that I admire your courage. You said, what do you mean? You're going to go out in the world, and when you have your first assignment managing people, you are in for a rude awakening. Okay? And any and every bad thing you ever did to any of your bosses will come back to you in multiple folds. How do I know? I know. We had a guy who came over we had a faculty retreat, and the guy's an executive headhunter, and he's doing his spiel, and they like to come over people like to get OBU grads because they know they're a cut above, and you always are. And he said, well, one of us asked him, what would be the two most important things that you want out of employees? You know what he said? They show up for work and they don't steal. So my friends, the bar is pretty low. So when you go out there and you show up for work and you don't steal and you really know something, you can really do something, that employer's going to go, I've got a winner. Okay? And if you work for a large corporation and you're willing to move around and stuff, you'll get the chance of a lifetime to go anywhere you want. My kid brother's a good example. He started out, he worked in security as for the Hilton Inn in Tucson, Arizona, the top one, which is where all the movie stars and all that. Okay, he calls me one day and he says, "You'll never believe where I'm at." I said, "Where at?" And he named off an actress. I said, "Where you at?" "We're at the pool." And he said, "She looks better alive than she ever did on TV." And I'm going, "Okay, bro, good for you." Well, about 6 months later, the people at Hilton came and said, "Would you be willing to take over security at our Waikiki franchise store?" Hawaii, as my daddy used to say. And my brother was in love, and his girlfriend didn't want to move. She wanted to be by her mom and dad, and they got married, and the rest is history. Well, he left Hilton, and now he works. If you ever see it, you might see it one of these days on Discovery or something like that. He is a shift supervisor at the Supermax prison in Florence, Arizona, which has some of the baddest people in the entire world. I asked him, I said, "What did you learn when he retired last year?" And they called him back to come back to work. And he said, "I learned one thing. None of them are guilty. They're all innocent." And he had to work the tower, which is the guard tower. And he asked his supervisor, he said, "Okay, what's the story?" And his supervisor said this: "Make sure that the state of Arizona does not have to absorb any hospitalization bills." Okay? So, and he'd get out when his first job was he was a yard man. And what that means is he'd go in the yard with the inmates while they got their exercise. Would that be creepy? Someone who's killed 18 people and they're walking with you and you don't have anything because they'll take it from you. So he'd have to go out in the yard with a little medical outfit, so they couldn't choke him quick, and no shoestrings, and they'd walk and they'd exercise. But he had the kind of personality, so laid back and so friendly that I guess they figured, well, we won't kill him. And if someone's killed 18 people, what's another one? In fact, that's what one of them told him when he was retiring. He said, "Yeah, if I killed another prison guard, who cares? I'm already here for good." So you get that corporate branding, and I've always told him, I said, "You should have gone to Hawaii," but the girlfriend, now the wife, and the mother of the two boys is the winner. But you're young and you get a chance to travel. Well, that little deviation was good, but you can see we've got all these phone numbers, okay, and we've got the data here. Now let's go in and take a look back again. And so we're doing some table building. Now the hourly rate is a number. You could put it in as a currency, which you did in the solution. Here's a number. The phone. Here's a number. Here's a number. Okay. Then the rating, the rater, and the comments. So this is what we got when we imported the table. Now between you and me, what I probably would do if I had to do some heavy lifting in terms of just doing some computation stuff, I would, like I said, I'd dump the table into Excel, do the computational work, and pop it back in to the database. Okay, now, so we've worked through everything for number 1 and everything for number 2, okay? So we have the fields. This is in the middle of page 166. We have first and last name, skill, hourly rate, number of hours employed each quarter, phone number, rating, initials of the rater, and there are any improvements. The improvement we did was we created a key, a primary key, that we call it a serial or an auto number. Okay, so we made an improvement there. We used the phone. We used an input mask to make the phone look better. Okay, and so we're good to go. Now we come down to number 3, and they ask us to start to run some queries. So we're going to look at that. So let's close this off, and we'll say yes. And now you'll see, and you're welcome, I did a query for you. Okay, and let's take a look at it for just a moment. All right. Now, they said create, this is the bottom, page 166. Create a query that shows the contractors sorted first by their skill, okay, then by their rating, and then by their name. Include the comment field and print the results of this query. Okay, so they want us to have the contractors sorted by their skill. That's the first thing. And so we have all the expert witnesses together. Okay, and then we have the next group of people. That's what is the LR? I forget who they are. What are they? Legal researcher. Yeah, and then the private investigators. Okay, I don't see Magnum PI here. I don't see. I dated myself. My wife is a big. Have you ever seen Magnum PI? The guy that's the actor, I can't remember. Tom Selleck? No, it's not Tom Selleck. Tom, whatever his name. My wife just, oh, I watched him when I was young. Oh, wonderful. But we've got all that data there. And then it's sorted by their skill, then by their rating. Okay, so we've got their rating. Now the rating is in alphabetical order. Okay, so we've got them sorted by rating. Now, excellent. Okay, it's coming up, and this is where it becomes a little sketchy. The dominant sort was this first one by skill. And so then it alphabetizes as the skills change, so that can fool you, okay? And then they've got and then their name, which I would bet the last name. It's yeah. So what you have is you have subgroups on subgroups, which is okay, not a big deal. Okay, so that's task number 3. Now let's go into the design view for a moment and take a look at it. This is the view that all of you will be working at. Okay, you say, what do you mean? Well, here's a table. Okay, and here are the fields, and we see the primary key for the field, and then we see the design view in the GUI, the graphic user interface. So okay, let's look at that. Starting in the far left, you see the field, you see the table name. Okay, you'll see, are we going to sort this or not? Okay, yeah, we're going to sort it, and we'll sponge this out a little bit more here. Okay, and then the comments. Okay, now we're going to sort that skill in ascending order. Okay, and then we're going to take the ratings and put them in ascending order. When you go left to right in here, the primary sort is the first one on the left, furthest to the left, then a secondary, then what we would call a tertiary, and then a fourth. Okay, and this is not much different than if I was in Excel and I highlighted a field of data, and I went and I did a custom sort, which is what we've done. No big deal there. We just identified. Now let's take one more little peek down under the hood, and there's the SQL. Now I'm going to copy that, all right, and I'm going to put it up here in a notepad so you can see what we're talking about. Now, SQL is structured query language, is what we call a demand language. In other words, I tell the computer what I want, how I want it handled, and the table I'm getting it from. And what you'll see says select, okay, and then we're going to get Hudson Palmer is the table, case 2 answer file. So we've got that. In the brackets is the name of the table, and then a dot or a period, and then the field. So it's table dot field. Okay, this is based on the same notion like in internet domains, except it's the opposite. For example, okbu.edu. We're part of the edu domain. It's not edu.okbu, but okbu.edu because edu is the domain. So it's a little bit different. But what this says is select all these fields from that table. And the machine is so stupid I have to tell it again. I told it select all this, and the table says, well, what table? So yeah, okay, here's the table. And then we're going to order the data, okay? And that's all that's going on there. Really, that's all that's going on. And I would not expect you at this stage of the game to be be writing any code, but once you understand it, you can see why having the graphic user interface isn't that nice. And this is why we love object-oriented programming. So we're going to run the query. Run, Forrest, run. Okay, and we did it. Now, here's one of the neat things about databases, relational databases, and about queries. Queries go down and they get a picture of the data and they let us see it. It's like they Photoshop a table. The table doesn't get changed. The data in the table don't get changed unless somebody has permission to change it, or in the natural course of things through transactions, etc., it's changed. But you can go in and take pictures of it and snapshots, and what gets saved is the code, not the table. They're not the new data. There really are no new data. You just see them in a different way. Okay? This is an important thing to understand because once you get that, you go, oh, okay. Then if I string a whole bunch of tables together, I can take thousands of tables and string them together. Oh, yeah. And it's like connect the dots. Now, I've probably shown this to you before, but I'll show you again a practical example of this. So click open a new tab. And I'm going to take you over to Esri and go, I am so tired of those people. But they are like incredibly good at what they do. This is Esri Tapestry, okay? And they tell you, explore your community's characteristics. This is a database. This is the opening form, okay? But this is a database layered on top, layers of data or types of data layered on a map. Let's explore it, and we'll click Start Exploring, okay? And I'm going to put in, and notice so I can get two topics, okay? And so this is for me to say, okay, what's the really important information here? Well, if you're at OU this week, you're saying college football viewers and financial wealth. Okay? Why? We want to recruit players. The Big Red must win. It's a fight to the death in the Cotton Bowl. Anybody going? You are. Okay. So whatever you do, and you are too? You're going? Whatever you do, don't get on Commerce Street, get drunk, and get arrested. When I was your age, they'd had 300 or 400 people, and people would walk up and down Commerce Street just drunk as a skunk, and the cops would haul them in, and they got to spend jail they got to spend the night and the afternoon in jail. And one of my friends, not me, got arrested, and since he was an OU fan, guess what? He didn't get to listen to the game. But they had the radio over for all the Texas jailees. It's rough life. So he learned, don't go down Commerce Street the Friday night before with a big jug of booze, because somebody will probably stop you. But here we're looking at two topics, and we're looking for variables. These are dimensions, variables, whatever, that make some sense. Now, we've got population density and age, but let's look at monthly credit card users, okay? And let's look at their online banking. And I'm going to put in a zip code, 73170. It's in Oklahoma City. I used to be a proud moron. I moved but the city of Moore made me an honorary moron. Thank you very much. I had a class, the students have graduated, but I had a young man who lived in Moore, and every time I'd check in on Sunday morning, you know, I was at church, he'd come to that next week, he'd say, I think you're in the parking lot, just putting, you know, updating your status. And then one Sunday he came and he saw me, he said, you're actually here? And I said, yes, I'm actually there. And our Sunday school class, you might want to join us because we have a kegger once a month, and we're studying the Quran. So it is a rocking class. That's not true. That's not true. Well, let's look at this for a moment. Now, we've gotten a couple of variables, and the cool thing is I can see this by zip, by county, by state. Okay. Now, the commercial product, not just the baby one, will even take this down to the street level. What street? How are they able to do this? Because they have an algorithm that lets them imitate the United States Census. And it's just incredible. If I pop over here, I can see another, and I can see these segments. Now, soccer moms, savvy, suburbanites, and up-and-coming families, okay? Well, I'm obviously left out of that group, so I'm miffed, and I'm going to close you off. All right, let's go back to our database. Now, when I was talking about the problem of null values, here we go. Is it null because it should be for some particular reason? Is it null because the card reader wasn't right? Is it null because the customer didn't put in the data? Is it null because I have people who take phone orders or whatever, and they had a rough weekend, and so they had too many Red Bulls, too many domestic disturbances, so they were not at their A game. Hey, who knows? You get to manage them. God go with you, my friends. It'll be interesting. You got an interesting workforce to deal with. Now, so we've got task 3, and we did all those sorts and so forth. And what they're really wanting to see is, for example, how many of these have a rating of excellent. So we're going to do something with this query. We're going to modify it a little bit and go back to the design view, okay, and come over to rating. And then in the criteria line, go to it and put excellent. We're going to see how many people came up as excellent. And then, oh, all right. And then I'm going to run the query. Now, I can see who are my top contractors. Who are they? Their skill levels. And, okay, what do they do? What can they do for me? And their first name and their last name and some comments. Okay? Now I have some information because I could say, okay, if we've got this, if we've got the skill excellent, let's go back down. Let's see. Well, or are they poor? So we're going to get excellent if they're rated excellent or poor. And there they are. So we have our best people and maybe our worst people based on ratings. Got me? Now I have information. And then I can look for some patterns. Why is it that all the expert witnesses seem to be, a lot of the expert witnesses are rated as excellent, and the private investigators, poor, and then a process server poor. Yeah, who knows? But I would want to explore that. So let's close that off, okay? And now, we're going back over here, and I'm going to come back in, and I want to go ahead and just close this jewel off. But, well, let's go ahead and leave it open, and let's look at task number 4. And click on home there, okay? Now I'll pin that back. Now, task number 4 is at the top of page 167. Create a report to list all the freelancers and contractors with the following fields: last name, first name, hourly rate, the total number of hours worked, the total amount earned in 2008. Print the report. Okay. All right. Well, I did some heavy lifting for you. Okay. In terms of, now, if I had to do something like this, I'd run the query that will get me the first 3 columns, okay? And then I'd build a query that would let me throw this back out into Excel and get totals. But just for kicks, let's see under the hood here and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's click first of all, and let's come over here to the total hours, this expression, and then the total earned. Now, when I work on expressions, I work over here, and I'm going to copy this. I work in a notepad so I can see it, what I'm dealing with. Now, this is total hours, Q1 2009 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4. Okay. Now, these have to be in a bracket. So, and they have to be spelled exactly correct, or I will get what we call a parameter error, because the machine will go, I don't recognize that. Okay. And so you make sure you've got it in brackets and you've got those fields typed out exactly as they should be. Now, so I could probably just go in Excel and run a sum and then go, yeah. If I've got 5,000 records, I probably would do that. But you can do what you will. Okay? Is everybody with me so far? See the expression there? Not a big of a deal. Now, we'll close this off or diminish it. And let's get this next one, which is the total earned. Copy that. Now what we do is we try to take an expression and build on it. Okay? And so what I did in this case, I have a field called total earned, and then the colon, and then hourly rate, because we have the hourly rate in that table, times the total hours. And you see up above, we computed total hours. So we just try to build on each operation and use elements from it. And that's really all there is. Got it? Now, if I really wanted to customize this, I could do this. I could sort this total hours. I could put a sort on this, and I could do it in a descending order. Okay, and I'll look at the total earned, and I'll put it in descending order. So we start with the people who work the most hours and the people who made the most money. And we'll run that. We'll take a look at it. See, now I've got a little bit of a problem there because it's giving me a parameter error. Okay. Let's see. Total hours. I'm in good shape there. Let's just run the first one and see. There's the total hours. Okay. It shows us the hour and it has their hours, total hours worked. Let's go back in. Now, if I want to suppress data in a query, okay, I just simply leave this blank. If I want it shown, I click the check mark. Okay. Now I've got the totals earned, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to see if I can get this to let me sort it in descending order. I'm probably going to run into the same problem before. Yeah, total hours. Okay. That's the problem, because total hours is an expression and it's not going to let me do that. But that's okay. Let's go up top and we'll run it. Now, what I can do, and this is a nicer feature now that's in Access, when I run into that, what was happening with there is it was saying, okay, you created this thing called total hours, but it's an expression. It's not in a column in a field. Okay? So what I would probably do is I would go ahead and I'd click in here and I'd make use of the tools that are there if I want to try to put those and filter them. Okay? and I've got some selections. I'll put them in descending order. Okay. And those don't look right at all. That looks weird. 405 times 475, 192,000. I'm not seeing that one at all. So we'll back that out. Oh, no. 40. 240 by 95. Now you always want to check the math. So this is one of the things that makes me a little skittish about this. Let's take 495 times, that's the total hours. Okay, yeah, times 240. So I've got the hourly rate and boom. Yeah, okay, it's right. I forgot about the hourly rate times the total hours. So I'm a dummy. So my apologies. So we will go ahead and we can do the descending. Now, when I close the query, it won't save this. So if I were doing a report or something like this, if I was in a meeting, I could do this on the fly, show them what this looks like using these tools up above. And then if I wanted, I could take it and bury it in a Word doc or something like that. Got me? Okay. Now, we're not too far afield from being finished with this. So let's look at number 4. We've looked at 4. And it says number 5, produce a report that lists all expert witnesses who charge more than $250 an hour. Okay. Bunch of punks. They're bankrupt in the firm. And I'll put no on saving changes. All right. And I'm going to close that off. Okay. And I want to do task number 5. And here it is. Let's go into the design view and look at it. Okay. And I'm going to pop this out. And we'll come down here. Now, we've got all right. Oh, I swear. Okay. Now I'm getting the last name of the person, their hourly rate, and I use a criterion here, greater than 250. Okay. Then I use the total hours, and you say, could you have just cut and pasted that in from the other query? All the time, my friends, all the time. And then the skill, and then then we have EW. And so we get all the expert witnesses make more than 250. You got that? Here's an interesting factoid. I bet you've always wondered what happens at faculty meetings. You ever wonder, what do they talk about? What do they do? Well, I want to say this. We talked about administering a survey to everybody about their perceptions of cheating at OBU's College of Business. And what I said was there's no point in doing that because everybody will turn in the same answer. So, hey, think about it. I think we have a lot less cheating than anybody imagines. A lot less. But, you know, and let me say this. I put an enormous amount of trust in you folks when I walk you through this stuff and let you work remote, etc. But look, and I have open book, open note, close, open book, open note exams. Okay. And I do that for a reason. Number one, I want you to get the material and not enhance your skills at guessing. And number two, I want you to get in the habit of being comfortable if you're working, something's not working, to go find somebody to help you. Okay? And number three, if you feel like you're cheating, then maybe you'll need to say, okay, I don't want to share that information. I don't want to share that with you. Now, I do that for a reason. If you would do that here and now, when you're out there, you'll probably do it. And out there, the consequences can be severe. So I give you a chance to grow up a little bit, learn a bit about yourself, and figure out what is the line between I'm cheating or we're working together or helping each other. Okay. Now, do I know which 5 of you or any of my classes all logged in at the same time and got the same score? Yep. But look, I'm not going to make any assumptions about that. Okay? But I hope your eyes and ears are open when we're in the course and you're getting something. And if you're not, that's your issue. So we've done that. We've done number 5, and we use that piece of data, the 250 as a criterion. Okay? And let's go back up here. And they say, okay, would you generate a report? And we already have a task 5 report. I'm going to close this off, okay? Yes, I'm going to say the changes. And let's create a report, okay? Click Create. Then come over and Report Wizard. This does not mean that I'm endorsing wizardry or anything of the occult, okay? So let's get all the data. So we can choose the query, and we choose Query Task 5. And so we have all those fields, and we click Next. Now, if I want to do some grouping, I can do that, and I'm going to group them on the basis of their skill. Okay? Now it says here are some grouping options, and you want to put in normal. I'll go yes. And then I can click Next, and it will say Summary Options. So I can put the sum of the hourly rate, the sum of the, I can get the average hourly rate, which is really what I want, the total hours. I might even get the average total hours. You can see I've got some choices here. I'll click OK and click Next, and we'll get the report. Okay, there's a lot. Now, as you've heard me say before, this is a bear getting this pulled together because the report function in Access is just, it's not easy to work with, but you can. But that's, yeah, what you do is you're going to, okay, we're going to cheese that up a little bit, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to the layout view. And now you can see I can start working with the layouts and moving things over. And you can see that's pretty tedious. There's the hourly rate, the total hours. Okay, I've got the subtotals, the averages, the means, and there's the sum. And these right here, these labels. So I've got that task 5. It's okay. I would probably want to make sure I change this to telegraph what I've got in here. Let's close this off and take a look at the 1. And we'll save the changes yet. And I created a task 5 report, not just a task 5. Let's open it up. And that's not bad. And I'll pop this out here so you can see it. And then we can scroll over it. Isn't that pretty? And now, to get that, you can take some serious work. You can probably take the query, dump it into Word, and make it look even better. Do what works best for you. Okay, now they give us number 6. We've talked about the areas where this could be enhanced, and then they talk about the memo field. All right. Now we're going to close this off for just a moment, and we're going to go back up here to the Hudson Palmer answer file, and let's go to the design view. Okay. And we have the skill field, okay? And let's look up there and see what the skill fields are. And they are PS, PI, EW, etc. Now, one way I would want to improve this would be to create a lookup table that would let me just have a drop-down menu for these skills. A drop-down menu for the rating, a drop-down menu for the rater. Okay, and what I think probably what I will do is I think I may wait for us. We'll do one maybe. There's too much detail in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll make an additional recording and post it like a part 2. And I'll take this and I need to make a note to myself, and I'll make Hudson Palmer answer file we'll do some lookup. I'll create some lookup tables. Why? Again, it's an issue of controlling the data input. Okay, and so I would want something that would give me a drop-down menu that could get EW or PI or PR or LR, PS or P1, PI, excuse me, any one of those skills. I would want a drop-down menu for the rating, a drop-down menu for the rater, and a drop-down menu for that, person's last name. Then, and the last name as far as the employee, and try to move that over. But just I'd simply have, this is the stuff that I would really want, or I want to make sure that I have all the input uniform. So I'll do some work with that, and that'll be probably about an hour by the time I show you that. And we work with this Hudson Palmer case 2 answer file. Now, we've done about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. And like I say, I like to chunk this through. So I'll do this so we make up the other additional minutes. Because we're a 3-hour course, okay, if we don't do 150 minutes of class time, Darth Vader will appear at our door at Halloween. We'll mistake him for a trick-or-treater, and we'll let him, and he will destroy our home and us. Okay? Or even worse, you'll get a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds that come to your house about 9 o'clock when you're out of candy and go, trick or treat, and you're doing, what do I give them? Liquor? Oh, got that. Okay. I'm kidding. I'm making a joke. But Halloween's around the corner, isn't it? Okay. And any of you going to go trick-or-treating? No? No one? Okay. I thought, when did you quit? 11? You quit at about 11?
My mom gave me stop.
Did she really? Well, how old were you? Yeah, it's a little sad when you're about 8 feet tall and you have little 2 or 3-year-olds and people go, huh. The little ones are so cute, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, here's what I did. For years, my little brother, I'm about 9 years older than him. So even when I was in my 20s, I was getting Halloween. I just sent my little brother. He's 10, 9, 10. He'd bring home big bags. In our day, you didn't have to, when we went out to go trick-or-treating, it didn't have to be at dusk with an armed guard so you wouldn't get abducted. You could just go. And we'd go all over Oklahoma City, and we'd come back with big sacks filled with it. And, now, and we'd get pies and candies. Ladies and people bake stuff. They give you sandwiches. It's pretty cool. Now, today, everything's wrapped, and you have to scan it and stuff to make sure it doesn't have, ISIS didn't put something on your candy, or you live in a tough world, bless your hearts. I'm sorry that it's like that. But, and I would say, a friend of mine, as I told him, if you have to have an AR-15 in your home, you probably need to move. That's what I'd do. I'd say, well, the neighborhood's kind of gone down. But what can I say? All right, my friends. Well, thank you so much for the time. And I will do a second one now. Well, what do I upload? Upload this one we've been working on. Okay. This is Access 2, and whatever you called it, and just upload it. Where do I upload it? Well, you upload it where it's supposed to be. And you say, where's that? We'll go over here to the syllabus part. Okay. And you'll see those assignments that are due. And you'll see access case number 2 that's due on the 16th of November, but we've already done it, so you can upload it. Okay? Okay, my friends, thank you so much. Hope you have a nice weekend. Is anybody going out of town next week? On fall free days? It is fall free days next week. You do know that. But you still need to be here in class. You're required to do that. I'm teasing. That's a bad joke. But whatever you do, if you drive home and stuff, here's please, if you get tired or something, don't stop at a rest stop, because next thing you know, you'll wake up, there'll be a creepy person beating in the window of your door, grab you, and you'll be in somebody's basement for 20 years. Don't do that. Do what I would do, and that is drive to the nearest convenience store, get some Red Bull, some cigarettes, and keep going. I'm just forget the Red Bull. Just get the cigarette. Neither one. But if you do travel home, be safe. Please, please, please take it easy. Be safe. We want you to come back. And there are sometimes I see students and I never see them again. I never told you about my first night at OVU, have I? You want to hear about it? It's interesting. A long time ago, we had. If gentlemen, if any of you are living in the dorm, I lived in the 3rd floor, 306. Okay, is the red tile still in the stairwell? And the showers still have that kind of like welcome to the Greyhound bus station look, or they fixed it up? Because it was nasty looking. But here's the thing: is we had at that point the largest freshman class. Okay, no, we were not all obese. There's a lot of us, and they had us in cots in the bottom down there where they've got a whole bunch of offices and so forth. We were sleeping on cots, okay, and glad to, because the school said we just can't take any more students. Now I trust you, trust me. We don't do that now. We don't go no more. We go. To make a long story short, we were there about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I hear. And this young man starts crying. And the RAs the next day came in and said, so-and-so went back home to Tennessee. So I've always wondered what happened to him. Did he go back and finish school or what? But he started crying because he was homesick and scared. So maybe you had that experience. I don't know. I drive around. Some of y'all have, some of these look like you're living at the Holiday Inn or something. You got these quads and all this junk. Is it pretty nice? That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I'm not bitter. You got a rock and all that. All we had for recreation at OBU, and I was your age, was just nothing but a bunch of skanky pool tables and little foosball things. And that was entertainment for us. But now you have all this stuff going on. You got sports, you got night junk. So be careful. I won't see you next week. I will leave you a second video. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me vent some of my frustrations that have built up over the years. And let me say hi to everybody out there. Carmen, glad to have. Let me unmute everybody. And Carmen, thank you for being here. Houston, Jake, Matthew, and Tyler. Anybody have any questions? Is it too late to drop the course? Yes. Anybody? Okay, well, folks, thank you so much. And I'm going to stop the share and sign off. And I will do another recording on doing some lookup tables on this Hudson Palmer lookup table answer file. Thanks a bunch, folks. Bye-bye.